All right, the run is too small and I already want to add more chickens, so let's build a bigger run. So our small beaver run would be perfect if you can keep yourself to a smaller size backyard chicken flock, but I have already caught the fever and I need more chickens. So I didn't film it, but we have 4x4s placed every 4 feet. They are 10 feet tall and we have them buried 2 feet below the ground. So we have squared out a 12 by 16-ish size new run for these chickens. Now, in between each 4x4, my husband built these frames by himself to lift up and put into place and screw to the 4x4s. If we ever need to add on, these panels will be easy to remove and get out of the way, and we can make that run bigger. But let's hope that I can keep myself under control and this run will be as big as we ever need. We are a small homestead in Oklahoma, and it is just my husband and I and a few dogs and now some chickens. So I really don't need to have a really large, massive flock. Out where we live, we have sandy soil, so we have a lot of underground critters that like to crawl and dig. So my husband dug a 1.5 to 2 foot trench that will go along, and we will use that space to add animal hardware sheets that will be attached to the frames in between the 4x4s, but extend it down 1.5 to 2 feet under the ground. That way nothing can dig underneath our frame and get into our run and get our chickens. To secure the animal hardware to the frames, we just use a staple gun and it stapled like crazy. Next, my husband also framed out a Dutch style door. My old run came with the Dutch style door and I really like that. It came super in handy. So we added the hinges, handles, and locks, the top and bottom. While we were working in the process, we had a pile of sand everywhere and the chickens just loved doing their chicken thing, going through all that sand and finding bugs that we dug up. Our livestock guardian dog, Drax, found out what it cost you to get in my camera view because the wind blew the camera over and my phone hit him and scared the crap out of him. Lesson learned, Drax. All right, I finally jump in here and start doing some of the hard physical labor and shovel the sand back into the trench that we dug for the hardware cloth to extend below ground. Off camera, we did build a new perch for the run, and we also removed the old run out of the big run. That was a fun task to do with just the two of us. So we got all the sides of the run up, and the major thing that we have to do now, which was probably the biggest and hardest task of making this chicken run, is adding a roof to keep the hawks out of getting into our run. And just know that this chicken run build was mostly my husband's work. You see me here and there pop in and out and help him with a few things, but I'm on the other side of the property for most of this time working on putting in our garden for spring, which will be a video that comes up soon. So we installed 12-foot long 2x4s across the top for some support and framing to attach the top pieces of animal hardware to. So I do want to re-emphasize, which I have in past videos, of the fact that we are not construction builders or of any type. This is DIY, creative, just thinking this up on our own. So this is what we did as far as attaching the top to this chicken run. And you know, DIY is do it yourself. You try something, if it doesn't work, then you figure it out and try something else and you learn as you go. And that's exactly what we are doing with this project. So far, the method that we used here is working, but I do have another backup plan idea if it ends up failing. So to attach the top animal hardware, we placed it up there, rolled it out, and started on one end and used the staple gun and basically I had my husband do this part because he's, over 6 foot, so he has longer limbs than me. He reached up and reached as far into the middle of the run that he could and stapled as far as he could, went around all the edges on the outside, and then to get the very center of the run, these boards aren't really strong enough on the top to support our weight, so we couldn't like crawl ourselves out there or anything like that. So we came up with a different method to make attaching in the middle happen. This is a piece of wire that I just found laying around, and I have twisted it into a little hoop hook, and we worked together as a team and tied the middle parts of the animal hardware to the board down using zip ties. So the zip tie has to wrap around the 2x4 that's attached up top. And it's easy on one side to stick the end of the zip tie up, but there's animal hardware all on the top blocking you from being able to reach your hand up there and grab it and pull it down. So that twisty piece of wire is what I use to stick through the hole. And then my husband and I used our, skills of being together for 8 years to loop that over the end of the zip tie, and then I would pull it back down, and then he can tighten the zip tie around the board. Now, we do let our chickens free range for half the day, so they get to get out and get all the yummy protein and bugs from the yard. But now whenever it's not time for them to free range, they have a nice new big run for them to enjoy. This run is by no means perfect, but the chickens seem to really enjoy having the extra space. There's definitely a lot less pecking and picking going on and fighting over treats and food. We also added more feeding stations for them, so that's helped with that as well. So not only is this chicken run good for them, it's also good and functional for me. I love having that Dutch door on the run. I can use the lower part when I need to go in and add more feed or grab their water and rinse that out. And then I can use the top portion to toss them treats. Lately, I've been giving my chickens these black soldier fly larvae from Grub Terra. These are tested for metal, so things like lead and arsenic will not be found in them, and they never source from China. If you are a chicken owner, you know the joy of what it's like to have happy, healthy chickens. I will have a link for these treats down below, along with a 20% off coupon for you to use. We hope y'all enjoyed this chicken run build. I would like to know your thoughts, maybe different ideas in the comments down below. Our chickens definitely love this new run addition. That is all we have for you today. Until next time.